You know, I like to see how games utilize 3D models and assets and props to create a believable and realistic environment. And I'm gonna start with Resident Evil 2. So already, this is a lot more than just a texture. You have this yellow tape. I assume some sort of police tape. It looks as if it's a 2D texture. Capcom definitely does have pretty good 2D textures, because if you do something like that in Unity, planes, 2D planes, look pretty bad. They don't get even lighting like the 3D world. I don't know the answer to why. I'm not professionally trained, or... There is no loading screen there. The way the lighting changes from, you know, cold blue lighting to warm, you know, white, yellow, orange lighting. It's nice. You can see more of that yellow tape. I feel as if I'm reusing too many assets, because you don't notice it when games do it, because they're using so many lighting conditions and in so many different ways that you wouldn't notice it otherwise. But whoa, that was a major lag spike there. Pieces of paper, although those are actually the same piece of paper, I think. Yeah, same paper texture, same pin. Can't even imagine how many props are in this game. Thousands at least, I assume. That phone gets used quite a lot. The cigarettes in this game takes place in what, 1998. It's very of the time. It's very faithful to its time. When it comes to making your own game, or you know, just looking at games closely, you're gonna realize how much of it gets reused. Little details like this that you don't consciously notice usually. And this is the type of stuff I get hung up about in my own game all the time, but you know, that's just going straight into the wall. That looks horrible. Pretty bad, but no one's gonna notice. You know, so it doesn't matter. Like, it looks bad, but no one really cares. Is really what, you know, that's what matters. I guess one thing I should look for is floating props. I don't see much clipping happening, which is, you know, nice. The attention to detail is nice. Of course, I gotta not forget to look up too, because especially Resident Evil, I've noticed, has a lot of vertical props. You know, maybe a normal game wouldn't put these pipes here, or this TV, which is also of the time. It's a very nice detail, because no matter which direction you're looking, there's something to look at. There's a detail in every part of the environment. And those are bullet holes. Interesting. And this is more of what I was talking about with the verticality. And you can see how it fits into the environment with this barricade, but letting the pipes through, because that's how that works, you know? But many games may not take the time to consider that. I also would like to take this time to examine some of the items this game has. You know, a lot of detail is put into it, although unfortunately, this shows about like 50 rounds of ammunition. About 50 rounds of ammunition. Unfortunately, we do not get 50 rounds. That's the thing that always bugs me in games, you know, when they show you get a full package, but it bothers me, but at the same time, it doesn't matter, because everyone does it, and I do it too. Wow, you can even look inside. I didn't even think to try that. Yeah, if only you got that many bullets in the actual game. Now, of course, they put a lot of details in this just because they can. I do appreciate how they kept the band on this key here. The leather band. It's just nice detail. I wonder if something like the storage room tag is translated in other versions of the game. Duh. Okay, moment of truth. Is it gonna be translated? No. Okay. Yeah, it is not translated. Well, We found it out now. For its aid spray, it does... I mean, these are so beautifully designed. You know, it's normally just a metal can that they stuck this on. And that really gives off that vibe. And again, these vents that really don't need to be there. They don't do much. I mean, you already have the lights to look at, but they're just something extra.
Open up! Open this goddamn door!
The handcuffs are also a nice touch. It's like, what would that even be used for in real life? Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem... It doesn't fully make sense to me that they'd be there, but... I assume that's a prop they just decided to stick there. Okay. So a few of these books are floating. That one especially is it? Like... No, it isn't, but it is almost clipping into the shelf above it. Again, that doesn't matter. No one cares. It's just something to notice. Because, you know, it doesn't matter. That's the point, is that it doesn't matter.
Oh no.
You can tell they put a lot of thought into, you know, having a male, you know, because a police office would usually have like a male boy of some sorts. So it's obvious that they thought about putting the roles of each, you know, this does feel like a real police department, except for the fact that it's an art museum and it has these goofy locks for the doors. That's why it has to be so realistic in the environmental design, because if the game's goofy and then the environment's goofy, well then the whole game feels goofy, and then, which isn't a problem, but it may make the game feel less scary, as a good horror game, you know, might feel. I forgot where I was going for a second. These fake environmental reflections are always cool to look at, but, you know, funny. As you can see, there's nothing blocking the door there in the reflection. Actually a lot's missing. Almost everything besides just like the wall itself is missing. Again, this has a wire that's going into the door. Makes perfect sense. I never realized, whoa. I have actually never looked up in this room. I have not once realized that statue, that balcony overlooked this room. That's hilarious. Wow, I never realized that. And again, like I said, this game always gives you something to look at, you know, vertically, instead of just horizontally. And I'm not going to talk too much about the character design, because I'm really specifically looking at reused props that are used over and over again throughout the game. But something like this is cool. This, presumably from a lurker, it just completely, presumably someone was probably standing about here, and then a lurker just came and striked that, and yeah, that person's probably a zombie now. It does feel like something horrible happened to her. And not just because the windows are boarded up, and not just because there's zombies around, but because the rest of the environment takes damage too. The blood and, you know, everything. It's not just one or two signs that everything has gone horrible, it's everything. Everything has gone horrible. Like in the beginning, there were body bags out outside of the station because presumably they had to kill people who were infected. Again, this map is covered in blood. They didn't need to do it, and they didn't need to make it that high quality, but they did. I have no way of viewing that map model. It would be cool if there was. I know many people complain about the yellow paint and yellow tape in games, but players can very easily get lost, and that makes them not want to play the game. Especially because most players aren't used to looking up or down. So if they see something like that, they're just gonna look at the wall like this. They don't know to look up or down. That's why the yellow can be necessary. In some games, is it overused? Yes, most definitely. So I assume this was left over from when it was an art museum. These paintings feel weirdly placed on the wall, like... Yeah, these are kind of weird. They're kind of small. Yeah, this is kind of... These are kind of goofy. I feel like that wasn't on purpose, but I could be very, very wrong. It's weird that these lockers... The gaps aren't a 3D model. You would think that would be a mesh, not just a texture. Because in Resident Evil 4 they do use lockers with actual slits in them. One thing this game had too much of is these potted plants. Which to a new player, now I'm used to it, but to a new player, it can look like herbs. Which can just confuse the player about what's a prop and what's interactable. Which is never, you know, that's never a good thing. More specifically talking about this area right here where there's this in the corner, which almost looks like it's a herb. Doesn't help that there is actually a red herb right there. But again, sometimes there isn't always something to look at vertically. There's really nothing to pay attention to up here. Maybe this hallway, but not here. I do love how they set up the lighting with this, you know, statue of the mannequin, of the figurine. Again, more to show that that it's in complete disarray with this hole in the wall. There's really not much to say about this key. It's quite generic, surprisingly generic actually. Feels like the only details really in just the spade, which of course is fine because no one will be paying attention to these icons. They obviously put a lot of work into them for just the love of the game, to make it all feel like one complete package, even though it really wasn't necessary. These lockers these storage container things kind of confuse me because I don't see where you open them from, and I don't know why you'd put books in them. Important files maybe, but again, doesn't matter until you start paying very close attention. This gooey grime is nice. And Claire's footsteps. You can kinda, I don't know if you'll be able to hear that, but you can hear the squishiness.
Claire, it's Marvin. How fast can you get back here?
Why? What's up?
I've got something to show you. It's important.
Hurry.
So the pattern on the roof is very nice. It does feel like a grand library, which it is. These tables are nicely designed. You could tell that they just, for really no reason other than just cosmetic purposes, to put this pattern. Maybe it was a reference to, maybe they did that because they were referencing a real desk, I don't know, but like, what would be taken away if they just made it one wood texture instead of having the pattern? You know, the player wouldn't notice nor care, but it adds to the atmosphere of this room, you know, especially that it's a grand library. You know, even these patterns of the railing of the balcony. I'm trying to see if I can see the point in which the mesh turns into a 2D plane, but right now I can't. And the RPD looks amazing. Vertically, I mean, it's enough, you know, vertically. It's not quite the most, well, I mean, these beams are very nicely designed, but it's good. It's more than good enough. What was the last one? Okay, I got it right. Another thing I'm gonna point out here is this Sour Patch Kids. That's like a box. I assume it's meant to be Sour Patch Kids, but it's called fruit candy. fruit candy, but it looks like a Sour Patch Kids thing, so you can tell that they, I mean, really what this is teaching me is I need to use references more to real world objects.
Yeah, we're not out of here yet.
Again, vertically. I'm not sure if it's an actual rule at Capcom, but like, why did they make it recessed? Why didn't they just make a flat roof? just because they wanted to. I mean, and I'm not sure if that was in the original or not. I mean, if it was, then that's extra cool, but I assume most of the vertical spaces, you wouldn't really be seeing the roof with fixed camera angles. This room I like. I never quite noticed. I don't think I ever realized that that's not just a light, but it's a skylight, specifically. Again, these paintings feel very weirdly placed. Like, if this was an art museum, why would you have to break your neck just to look at them? It doesn't really make sense. I do like how the chain link fence actually moves.
Marvin? Marvin, are you there? Marvin? I gotta be kidding me.
Wow. I knew I was going to be close on space, but I did not think that would put me over. I am playing on assist just so I can walk through these environments slowly. And I just got done playing S rank. Which, I mean, S rank was fun to get, but it can be tiring to try and rush through the game that fast. And it gives me a lot of fatigue, so. Jeez, I did not plan this out too well. Okay, well, I'm going to grab the electrical part. Let me... Oh, I can't use this here. Okay, whoops. Hold on. Damn, man. It does feel like this was maybe definitely like a room where, you know, maybe the lower officers or the mailroom people were. Never noticed these scrapes on the first way through. I assume that would make more sense than the original, where the liquor scare was actually here instead of being at the 3rd floor. I do like how the locker room is LAP. And like, there's no way to interact with this. You just gotta see it. You gotta interact with the environment. You gotta actually like participate in the environment to notice that. Which for maybe a key item would not be fun, because you can't expect the player to automatically differentiate what's just a prop and what's important. But something like that, where it's an optional unlockable item, I think is perfectly okay. And I like when games do that. This aim assist is annoying me more than it's helping me. Actually, it's actually annoying. Come on. I do like these balconies, but they are really short. I've known some really short railings like that in real life, but it still seems a little weird for them to be that short. Again, that kind of looks like a herb. Just, it's really annoying. There's that same handcuff prop from earlier. Again, that looks like a herb. They don't necessarily look like herbs from this game, but they look like herbs from other games. Especially Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 has the long and skinny herbs. Makes it very easy to get confused with these long and skinny green plants, because they look too close. This prop, I believe, is reused in Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 and this game, and probably Resident Evil 3 and maybe Resident Evil 4 Remake. It's just funny. I don't think there's a lot of game-to-game asset reuse, but of course, if you have the opportunity, you might as well, you know. I actually think it's cool how little there seems to be between the games. Seems as if they like to remake them to new quality standards, or just because they match the general style of the game better. Oh shit, it followed me? What the hell? Did it follow me or was there another one in that room? I'm not sure.